Borders. They define nations. They separate languages, cultures, and identities. But what happens when the lines on a map don't tell the whole story? What happens when two or more sides claim the same land? From frozen mountains to tropical islands, these disputed territories are not just about land. They're about power, memory, pride, and history. Today, we explore some of the world's most contested places and the untold stories behind the lines in the sand. Not all disputes are born from war. Some arise from the collapse of empires, others from colonial mistakes, ignored treaties, or ancient claims. There are active conflicts, where soldiers stare each other down every day, and frozen conflicts, where peace holds, but tension simmers beneath the surface. Then, there are symbolic disputes, where the land may be small or even uninhabitable, but the pride it holds is enormous. To understand the world's fault lines, we must start with a few of the most famous. Nestled in the Himalayas lies Kashmir, a land of beauty and sorrow. The India-Pakistan border conflict stems from the 1947 partition of British India, which created separate nations for Hindus and Muslims but uprooted millions, sparked communal violence, and left the status of Kashmir disputed. Hari Singh, the Maharaja of Kashmir, initially delayed his decision to join either India or Pakistan after the partition. However, after attacks by Pakistan-backed tribal militias in 1947, he acceded to India in return for military assistance, resulting in the first war between India and Pakistan. This led to a ceasefire line, which was converted into the line of control in the Shimla Agreement of 1972, dividing the administration of the territory. The line of control, which originated as a ceasefire line in 1949 and was converted in 1972. Since 1947, India and Pakistan have engaged in several wars. The first war began after tribal militias backed by Pakistan attempted to capture Kashmir and ended with a UN-brokered ceasefire. The second war, also over Kashmir, ended inconclusively with the Tashkent Declaration. The third war was rooted in the Bangladesh Liberation Movement, leading to the creation of Bangladesh. The Kargil War saw clashes in the Kargil sector of Jammu and Kashmir. Several agreements have aimed to foster peace, including the Indus Waters Treaty, the Shimla Agreement, and the Lahore Declaration. The partition of the region has left Pakistan with territory that is thinly populated and economically underdeveloped. Shelling across the line of control continued intermittently into the early 21st century until a ceasefire agreement was reached in 2004. Tensions have continued to erupt periodically, causing unrest and impacting daily life. The Indian government has maintained a strong military presence to manage movements and confront terrorist forces along the line of control. Today, the region is divided and is one of the largest military-controlled region. India controls the southern and central parts. Pakistan holds the northwest, and China claims the east, Aksai Chin. With 3 nuclear powers involved, Kashmir remains one of the most dangerous flashpoints on Earth. Tensions remain, exacerbated by militancy in Kashmir. In April 2025, renewed tensions arose after a terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir, leading to missile strikes and a brief exchange of fire before a ceasefire was announced. The Wagah-Atari border crossing often reflects the state of diplomatic ties, with ceremonial activities scaled back during tensions and serving as a stage for goodwill gestures during thaws. Few disputes are as globally polarizing as the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The history of the Israel and Palestine conflict is rooted in competing claims over land and self-determination, marked by significant events and periods of conflict. After the fall of the Ottoman Empire and the trauma of World War II, the land between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea was divided, first by British colonial plans, then by the UN. Following Israel's declaration of independence on May 14, 1948, neighboring Arab forces attacked. Israel captured additional territory, while the West Bank came under Jordanian control and the Gaza Strip under Egyptian control. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians fled or were expelled, becoming refugees. And from that point, the territory has rarely known peace. The West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Gaza Strip are the focal points. Israel claims security. Palestinians claim sovereignty. Both claim history. The Palestine Liberation Organization and Hamas are two significant Palestinian organizations that have been fighting against Israel. Formed in 1964 with the goal of representing Palestinians, the Palestine Liberation Organization aimed to centralize various Palestinian groups. It gained prominence after the Six-Day War in 1967. Hamas was established in 1987, during the First Palestinian Intifada, by members of the Muslim Brotherhood and religious factions of the Palestine Liberation Organization. Palestine Liberation Organization initially sought the complete elimination of Israeli sovereignty but later adopted a more flexible policy, accepting a two-state solution. From its foundation, Hamas rejected negotiations that would cede any land and maintained that Palestine is an Islamic homeland that can never be surrendered to non-Muslims. While some leaders have hinted at accepting a two-state solution, the organization continues to reject the legitimacy of Israel. The Palestine Liberation Organization engaged in guerrilla warfare against Israel in the 1960s, 1980s before entering peace negotiations in the 1990s. It established the Palestinian Authority in 1994 in coordination with Israel. Hamas focused on jihad against Israel and rejected the 1993 peace agreement between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization. Hamas has used suicide bombings and other attacks. The Palestine Liberation Organization became the dominant political force in the Palestinian Authority. Yasser Arafat, leader of Fatah, became chairman of the Palestine Liberation Organization's Executive Committee in 1969. Hamas won the 2006 Palestinian legislative elections and later took control of the Gaza Strip in 2007, leading to a division between Hamas-controlled Gaza and the Fatah-led West Bank. During Six-Day War in 1967, Israel captured the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and other Arab territories. The sporadic fighting that followed the Six-Day War again developed into full-scale war in 1973. On October 6, the Jewish holy day of Yom Kippur, Israel was caught off guard by Egyptian forces crossing the Suez Canal and by Syrian forces crossing into the Golan Heights. The Arab armies showed greater aggressiveness and fighting ability than in the previous wars, and the Israeli forces suffered heavy casualties. The Israeli army, however, reversed many of its early losses and pushed its way into Syrian territory, and encircled the Egyptian Third Army by crossing the Suez Canal and establishing forces on its West Bank. War between Israel and Palestinian militants, especially Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, that began on October 7, 2023, when Hamas launched a land, sea, and air assault on Israel from the Gaza Strip. The October 7th attack resulted in more than 1,200 deaths, primarily Israeli citizens, making it the deadliest day for Israel since its independence. More than 240 people were taken hostage during the attack. The next day, Israel declared itself in a state of war for the first time since the Yom Kippur War in 1973. The war began with the Israel Defense Forces conducting airstrikes on the Gaza Strip, followed weeks later by the incursion of ground troops and armored vehicles. A brief ceasefire and a series of hostage exchanges took place in 2025 between late January and early March, but hostilities resumed after negotiations for a second phase of the ceasefire failed to take root. By the end of July 2025, about 60,000 Gazans, more than 2.5% of the territory's population, had been killed according to official numbers, and more than two-thirds of the buildings in the Gaza Strip had been damaged or destroyed. About 1,700 Israelis had been killed, including those killed in the October 7th attack. Although the agreement led to more than a month of pause in the conflict in the Gaza Strip, its implementation was shaky from the start. In mid-March, the conflict resumed, and humanitarian aid was again severely restricted. By late July 2025, nearly 500,000 of about 2 million people in the Gaza Strip faced a catastrophic level of food insecurity, while 1 million others were experiencing an emergency level of food insecurity. According to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, peace deals have come and gone. Settlements expand. Violence erupts. Ceasefires falter. And yet, the question remains unresolved. Two peoples. One land. What future? Taiwan is an island of contradictions. It has a government, elections, a passport, and its own military. It has a flag, a national anthem, even an economy larger than many countries. But in the eyes of Beijing, Taiwan is not a country. The People's Republic of China claims Taiwan as a rogue province. Taiwan, officially the Republic of China, disagrees. Born from civil war in 1949, the two sides have remained separated ever since. After the Chinese Civil War ended in 1949, the nationalist government, led by Chiang Kai-shek, retreated to Taiwan, while the communists established the People's Republic of China on the mainland. Since then, the People's Republic of China has viewed Taiwan as a breakaway province that must be reunified with the mainland, by force if necessary. Taiwan, however, has developed its own democratic government and sees itself as a separate entity. Following the end of the Chinese Civil War in 1949, Chiang Kai-shek's government and army retreated to Taiwan, creating a situation of geopolitical tension across the Taiwan Strait. Initially, the US did not plan to intervene, but the Korean War changed this, leading the US Navy to send its 7th Fleet to the area. Several crises have occurred in the Taiwan Strait, involving military actions and the risk of escalation. These crises have heightened tensions between the US and China, particularly as the US has shown increased support for Taiwan. First Taiwan Strait crisis started in 1954. The People's Liberation Army of mainland China shelled Taiwan-controlled islands, including Quemoy, Matsu, and Dakshin. The U.S. responded by signing the Sino-American Mutual Defense Treaty in December 1954, allowing the U.S. to position military assets in the region. The U.S. Congress also passed the Formosa Resolution in January 1955, authorizing the president to defend Taiwan and its islands. Second Taiwan Strait crisis started in 1958. The People's Republic of China resumed its bombardment of Jinmen and Matsu Islands. The U.S. resupplied the Taiwan garrisons, and an informal practice of shelling each other's positions on alternate days occurred until 1979, when the U.S. established normal diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China. Third Taiwan Strait crisis occurred in 1995. This crisis was triggered by the U.S. granting a tourist visa to Taiwan President Lee Teng-hui. The People's Republic of China reacted by conducting military exercises and firing missiles near Taiwan. The U.S. Navy deployed 2 carrier battle groups to the region. Most recently, China has increased its military pressure on Taiwan by conducting large-scale military drills and sending warplanes into Taiwan's airspace. China has increased military pressure on Taiwan by conducting large-scale military drills and encircling the island with ships and aircraft. In September 2023, China sent a record number of fighter jets toward Taiwan in a 24-hour period. The U.S. continues to sell arms to Taiwan and maintain a military presence in the region, causing friction in U.S.-China relations. Despite this, economic ties between Taiwan and mainland China have improved. The Taiwan Strait may be narrow, but the divide between the two Chinas is vast. Tensions between the two have varied over the decades. There have been periods of relative calm and increased economic ties, as well as times of heightened military threats from China. China has been pressing for reintegrating Taiwan as a province under its administration, while a movement in Taiwan has advocated for the island to become an independent, sovereign state. The Taiwan Strait may be narrow, but the divide between the two Chinas is vast. The annexation in the 21st century was swift, but not without history. After the Russian Revolution of 1917, Crimea was declared an independent democratic republic. During the Russian Civil War, it became the final stronghold for white forces. In 1921, it was reorganized as the Crimean Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic. The Soviet collectivization process and Stalin's suppression of ethnic minorities led to the deportation of Crimean Tatars in 1944. Crimea was transferred to Ukraine in 1954 and later became an autonomous republic within Ukraine in 1991. Crimea was transferred from the Russian Soviet Federated Socialist Republic to the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic in 1954, when both were part of the Soviet Union. After the Soviet Union's collapse, Crimea became part of an independent Ukraine. Russia never truly let go. When Ukraine's government shifted westward, Russia moved in. A disputed referendum followed, and Russia claimed Crimea as its own. Several factors led to the annexation of Crimea by Russia in March 2014. Pro-Russian sentiments was one of the factors. Crimea had a predominantly Russian population that supported Viktor Yanukovych, Ukraine's pro-Russian president. Russian military presence. Russia maintained a significant military presence in Sevastopol through a lease agreement, allowing up to 25,000 troops and air bases in Crimea. After months of protests, Yanukovych fled Kiev in February 2014. Unidentified masked gunmen, later identified as Russian troops, seized key sites in Crimea. Vladimir Putin received approval to send troops to Crimea to protect the ethnic Russian population. A referendum was held on March 16, 2014, with an overwhelming majority reportedly voting to join Russia, though the vote was deemed unconstitutional by Kiev. Crimean Tatar leaders called for a boycott of the vote. On March 18, 2014, Putin signed a treaty incorporating Crimea into the Russian Federation. The annexation was formalized by the Russian parliament. Putin stated that the intervention was to protect Russian citizens and military assets in Crimea. Putin stated that Crimea had always been part of Russia. The annexation was condemned by the interim government in Kiev, the United States, and the European Union, leading to sanctions against Russian officials. The United Nations affirmed that Crimea remained an integral part of Ukraine. What's at stake isn't just land. It's geopolitical power, national identity, and Black Sea dominance. Nagorno-Karabakh is a mountainous, landlocked region in the South Caucasus, internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan but historically and predominantly populated by ethnic Armenians. It has been the source of long-standing conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan, with periods of intense fighting and displacement of populations. The region was acquired by Russia in 1813, and in 1923, the Soviet government established it as an Armenian-majority autonomous region within the Azerbaijan Soviet Socialist Republic. In 1988, ethnic Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh began advocating for the transfer of the region to Armenian jurisdiction, which was opposed by both the Azerbaijan and the Soviet government. As Armenia and Azerbaijan gained independence from the Soviet Union in 1991, conflict erupted between Armenians and Azerbaijanis in the enclave. A self-proclaimed republic, the Nagorno-Karabakh Republic, also known as the Republic of Artsakh, was established in the region, though it lacked international recognition. The war was won by Artsakh and Armenia and led to occupation of regions around Soviet-era Nagorno-Karabakh. Azerbaijan and Turkey responded with a transportation and economic blockade of Armenia, which persists to this day, while Artsakh was also blockaded until 2023. The ceasefire ending the war, signed in 1994 in Bishkek, was followed by 2 decades of relative stability, which significantly deteriorated in the 2010s. A 4-day escalation in April 2016 resulted in hundreds of casualties, but only minor changes to the front line. In late 2020, the large-scale Second Nagorno-Karabakh War resulted in thousands of casualties and a significant Azerbaijani victory. An armistice was established by a tripartite ceasefire agreement on November 10th, resulting in Azerbaijan regaining all of the occupied territories surrounding Nagorno-Karabakh, as well as capturing one-third of Nagorno-Karabakh itself. Ceasefire violations in Nagorno-Karabakh and on the Armenian-Azerbaijani border continued following the 2020 war. Between 2022 and 2023, Azerbaijan escalated its blockade of Nagorno-Karabakh using a military checkpoint, sabotaging civilian infrastructure, and targeting agricultural workers. The 10-month-long military siege isolated the region from the outside world. In 2023, Azerbaijan launched a large-scale military offensive in September 2023, resulting in the flight of most ethnic Armenians, the dissolution of Artsakh, and its incorporation into Azerbaijan. Even now, tension remains. To outsiders, it's a small mountain enclave. To locals, it's everything. Homeland, memory, and pain. Disputed territories are not just political lines. They're where people are born, live, and die. They are flashpoints for war and potential bridges to peace. They raise hard questions. Who decides what a country is? What makes a people a nation? And can history ever be redrawn without blood? Lines on a map may seem permanent, but as history shows, they are anything but. Today's borders were yesterday's battles. And tomorrow's? Only time and humanity will decide. Thanks for watching. If you found this story eye-opening, subscribe, share, and let us know, which disputed territory do you think the world forgets?